everyone. Thanks for joining us on another kid-free weekend. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
So we have a little something in store for you all today. Hopefully, you are familiar with the series of movies called John Wick, starring Keanu Reeves. This, I gotta say, was not a series of movies. Let's just go back to the first one. Was not a movie that would have been on my radar at all.
Me either.
I don't dislike Keanu Reeves. The Matrix was great. I mean, Bill and Ted is terrible but funny. You know,
Point Break.
He has a history. Honestly, I've actually never seen that.
That's good.
I've never seen Point Break. I feel bad about that, saying it out loud. But he's been in plenty of stuff that's totally fine. I just, whatever. He's all right. And then this was a movie where he's just going to kill a bunch of people.
He was also in that movie with Jack Nicholson. Nicholas Nicholson.
Not the golfer.
And what's her name that always wears turtlenecks? Diane Keaton. He was the young.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Is that Diane Keaton? He was
Something's Gotta Give?
Maybe.
That was
where she was a writer.
Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton.
And he was a doctor.
Love, right?
Yes, sort of. And he was a doctor and he wanted to date Diane Keaton's
daughter, I think.
No.
Didn't he start off with her daughter? And then,
no.
Must be thinking of a different movie. All right. Well, but he was good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did that one really sad, what was it called? Sweet September or Sweet October.
Yes.
Cold November. I don't know. It had a month in it.
Did it involve the wine country?
It was with Charlize Theron, and she spends her life going from man to man, making their lives better, and then she dies.
No, I didn't see that.
That seems like something we would have watched together.
I did not see that.
I don't know why I've seen it, but I saw it.
No, I haven't, no. But I think it was called Cloud something or other, the one that I'm thinking of.
Now I gotta look it up.
Where he was like...
A Walk in the Clouds?
Yes.
That's a thing.
That sounds like it.
Maybe it is it. Okay, so he's had quite a career. I got nothing bad to say about the man. I've always heard he's super nice. But even though I like a good action movie, John Wick, what I don't like so much is guns. I'm not a big gun fan. I don't really care for shoot 'em up movies. There's a couple exceptions to that rule, but I just didn't expect anything from John Wick. Missed it in the theater the first time around. And then this guy at work goes, did you ever see John Wick? One day in the middle of some conversation, I was like, no. He's like, oh my God, you have to see it. It's the most amazing movie. It's about this guy and these bad guys kill his dog. And he goes on this rampage of destruction. I was like, okay, well, that's a really weird premise for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give it a shot. So he lent it to me. I brought it home. It took us a while, I think a number of weeks before we were like, all right, fine, let's just check this out already. And then it was magic.
It was magic.
So I wanted to revisit these movies, and then we're going to talk about episode 3, which we just saw the other day. But I want to take you back first to John Wick number 1. And part of this was I wanted to decipher a timeline for these movies. And I'm not going to do that because it's not as bad as I thought. I was watching number 3 and thinking, do these movies just run from
back to back?
Does the whole span of the John Wick trilogy thus far take place in the course of 3 days? And once I thought about it more, it definitely does not. The first movie takes place maybe over 3 or 4 days, something like that. And then movie number 2 doesn't start immediately after movie number 1. I've gotten that far. So I don't need to unravel it completely. It definitely is a tight timeline, but just to go back to movie number 1, I want to figure out why was it magical. So we have Keanu Reeves. We meet this guy. He's clearly lost a lady he loves. And then after her funeral, a dog shows up in the mail. Mm-hmm. She arranged, I guess, because
she's at her funeral and then comes home and there's something.
Yeah, well, someone
there.
I think maybe they ring his doorbell or maybe it's waiting for him. I don't know. But yeah, there's a dog all of a sudden. And it's like, well, you need something to love, John. So have this dog. Love Helen. I think her name was Helen.
She died of cancer right?
I don't think they ever said. She died of something. Illness, for sure.
Okay.
And so then he finds purpose in his life with this dog. And he has an amazing house. Like,
it's pretty cool.
We
It's
don't
all
know
glass.
exactly what he does for a living.
Not at this point, yeah.
It's got to be good. Has a pretty sweet car. Drives a muscle car.
An old car.
Mm-hmm. But he's restored it. It's in mint condition.
Very nice.
And everything is looking up for John Wick. And
well, I mean, I wouldn't say looking up.
Well,
he's
he's depressed, but hey, look, he's got money.
Also,
he's got awesome house. He's got a dog.
The dog that they gave him is a beagle.
Is that bad?
Well, it's not the greatest of hounds.
You are I don't know if I would call you an expert, but you're very knowledgeable about canines. What can you tell us about beagles?
Well, they bark a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
A lot. Well, Sophie barks a lot. Are you kidding? She's not barking right now. Sophie, the kid-free dog.
That's true. But they bark a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
Are they high-strung? High-strung dogs? Snoopy was a beagle.
Snoopy didn't look like a beagle.
He was totally chill.
I never had a beagle. I just know what they're infamous for, which is barking a lot.
Okay.
Maybe he wants a bark a lot dog.
Well, maybe Helen wanted him to have a vocal presence in his life. Maybe that was what it was all about. Okay. So then on one fine day, he stops to get gas and runs afoul of Yosef Tarasov.
Right.
Played by Alfie Allen, which, if you're into Game of Thrones, you can't not recognize Alfie Allen.
Theon. Theon.
Theon. Well, you could call him Theo for short. Why not? I mean, if Eddard can become Ned.
True.
Good old Theo Greyjoy. So it was neat seeing him in a different role, but still, I mean, Theon redeemed himself by the end, but he was kind of a sleazebag for most of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm. He's a sleazebag here, too.
He's many times more a sleazebag. I hope he doesn't get typecast for that, but he is good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. I bet you anything he is a super nice guy. Oh, remember when he came to the first Comic-Con we were at, Game of Thrones panel, he brought out the cutest puppy dog.
He sure did.
I think he was trying to curry favor with the audience.
I guess.
Because, no one loved Theon at that point.
And he didn't even get to talk. Did he?
He probably talked a little bit.
Well, maybe a sentence.
I think the only panels where someone got shafted completely was Westworld, but that's a story for a different day. And we've already covered it. But yeah, so Yosef Tarasov. And that guy says, nice car, bro. How much you want for it? And of course, it's not for sale. And that's what this all starts as, is he wants to buy John Wick's car. And when John Wick says no,
it's not for sale,
he decides he's going to hunt down the guy that owns this car and then take it.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to follow him, figure out where he lives.
I mean, he's such a douche. All this for a car.
I
don't know much about cars, I admit, but come on.
It's the gang mentality.
Yeah.
That's the way they're all douches.
No one tells me no.
They wear gold chains.
Mm-hmm.
They got to have their shirt open down to just above their belly button.
I don't think he was doing that. But some of his friends, his dad did. His dad was like that with the hairy chest.
Yeah, maybe that's what I was thinking about it. He's very much like that guy at Sheesh.
A local restaurant that no longer exists. But part of the reason that no longer exists is probably because the guy who was the main cook had all the chest hair in the world on his chest all at the same time. Like, I walked into that restaurant and my chest hair vanished and it appeared on that guy's chest.
And he had it almost, literally, it was down to his belly, open. And he's sitting there, would you like some baklava?
You'd think it was violating a health code or two. Maybe
he had the gold chain. Seriously, chest hair would have been in everybody's food.
Yeah. That's okay.
Okay.
So they break into John's house later that night and they sneak attack him, knock him down a couple times, and little doggy comes to the rescue. And they kick the doggy really hard. Hard and
very hard.
And they knock John out. He goes unconscious. And when he wakes up, his car's gone and his little puppy is no more.
Mm.
And it was so sad because the doggy had crawled. There was a little blood trail.
Mm-hmm.
It had crawled along the floor to get over next to John before it died.
No.
So sad.
It was very sad. I might have cried. I don't remember.
That was the thing, was I was worried, if we're going to try this movie out, how are you going to react? Because I knew in advance that the dog was going to get killed. How are you going to react to a dog getting killed on screen? I wasn't sure how you do, because some people are really bad with that.
Well, I mean, I don't think we saw it get killed on screen, did we?
We saw it get kicked, I think.
Yeah.
And then the yelping noise. But
I mean, I didn't like it, of course, but what am I going to do? Throw something at the TV and break it? I don't. Maybe. What were you expecting?
Well, I just figured you'd be like, turn this off.
Oh, fuck this show. Like I did to Game of Thrones every single episode. At least in the first season.
Luckily, we didn't turn it off. And so this awakened the dragon, so to speak.
Very nice.
To bring it back to Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. So John ain't going to have none of that shit. You can't just kill his dog and take his car.
No, you may not.
And that's when we start to find out what John Wick's really all about.
Mm-hmm.
He goes into his basement.
He was retired.
He was a retired hitman.
Mm-hmm.
Simple enough. He goes into his basement and starts bashing in this concrete block and pulls out a bunch of guns, a bunch of really nice looking gold coins, perfectly stacked in this little case. He has a lot of gold coins.
Yeah.
Whew.
Now tell me.
Yes.
You have a bunch of gold coins stashed away. I mean, let's just say they're only gold coins and that's all they're just worth gold. How do you fucking spend that shit? You take it to the bank and tell them, give me whatever this gold coin is worth?
You mean so he could buy his house?
Sure, whatever.
Well, no, because there's like two economies there, because people get paid in regular cash for doing an assassin job, but then they also have this secondary currency of these cool gold.
Well, I know. I'm just saying in real life.
No, like in real life, if you and I had some gold coins.
Right. How do you take them to like the gold pawn shop?
Yeah, pretty much.
No.
You'd have to take them to some kind of exchange if you wanted to buy anything with them.
We should look into this.
And then
find some
gold.
We'll make some fake gold and then we'll sell it to them. Okay, back to the story.
Back to the story. John makes a phone call. So we meet the big bad guy of the movie, which is Vigo Tarasov.
Of course it is.
Leader of the Tarasovs. So he's like, give me your son. I'm going to kill him for what he did. And the dude's like, I can't do that. I'm sorry, but please don't come after me. And then he like sends men to kill John, and John annihilates all of them.
Well, wait.
Yes.
You passed up.
Well, this was like in his home. This
the opportunity.
What?
Oh. Well, yeah, he was killing people on the way in before he got to talk to Vigo.
Well, he called Vigo first.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't remember. Yeah. But you missed the part where Vigo calls his son.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and he's like, you stupid motherfucker.
Right. Like this was the
Do you know whose dog you killed?
Exactly. Oh, God, it was so beautiful. Yeah, because the guy's like, you can't.
You can't just
you could do anything.
Right.
Because I'm sure this dude has a history of going around and just taking whatever he wants from anybody. Mm-hmm. But this was the one bad move that you couldn't have done. And the plot hole that I would say is that apparently in order to get out of the assassin game, John did a job for this dude. He used to be working for the Tarasovs and did the impossible job and then was allowed to retire. Why wouldn't the son, the theoretical heir to the empire,
know who John Wick is?
Yeah, I feel like that would have been an important point, but maybe...
I think that maybe you're not correct about that.
Well, he didn't know who John Wick was.
No, I know, but maybe it wasn't a Vigo job. Maybe it was like higher up job. I don't know.
But, I think it was, but yeah.
Well, he was stupid. He was just like running around like a crazy teenager does, you know?
Mm-hmm.
They don't pay attention to anything.
And it was the tri-state area. You figure, with all those millions of people, you're probably not going to run into Baba Yaga.
Yes, that's what he's called, Baba Yaga.
The Russian boogeyman.
Yes. Didn't we watch a Baba?
Yes, we did.
Yaga?
No, Babadook.
Babadook.
I think there is a movie called Baba Yaga, but we haven't watched that one. All right, so the movie then turns into a kill fest.
Right.
And there are certain things that we learn along the way. When John leaves New Jersey to go find Yosef, he stays at a hotel called the Continental.
Right.
And that seems to be a pretty swanky joint. It is run by a guy named Winston. He's the manager of the hotel, played by Ian McShane, who is probably most famous for Deadwood, but was also in an episode of Game of Thrones once.
I did not see Deadwood.
And a guy named Lance Reddick, who plays the hotel, like...
Concierge?
Yeah, like the main...
Like the number concierge.
2. I guess his character's name is Charon, which I did not know.
Charon?
Yeah.
Huh.
Does that name mean anything to you?
Well, it sounds like Charis eggs.
From Skyrim?
Yes.
In Greek mythology, Charon was the boatman over the river Styx.
Oh.
The river of the dead.
Yeah.
On the way to the underworld. Yeah.
Yeah, like in
It's a good name.
Clash of the Titans.
He was possibly in Clash of the Titans. I
Yeah.
can't remember now. But, yeah. All right. So there's this hotel called the Continental. Assassins go there to spend their time, and they
Not get killed.
We see them pay in gold coins.
Yes.
Oh, at one point, John, when the guys come to his house, he has to pay for like body cleanup with a bunch of gold coins.
Right.
So we start seeing hints of this weird secret world.
Mm-hmm.
And the Continental is a big part of that.
Right.
So in the hotel, you can't conduct business. You can talk to people, but conducting business means killing people. So you're not allowed to do that.
You're just, hey, how's it going?
And there's already a price out on John's head because the Russian, the Tarasovs are like, we got to get rid of this guy. Hopefully someone can take him out before he gets to my son.
Right.
So I feel like this is probably where the movie became really interesting for you because, or was it the killing? I don't know. You tell me. Is it the world that they started to build up, or was it the action? Did the action really grab you? Because you're not really an action movie person.
I think it's well, I don't know. It's just like the fighting was pretty cool and I was entertained by the storyline.
The fighting is very brutal. It's not like it's not like a martial arts movie, even though
kind of
there's
a
lot of martial arts involved. But John shoots most people in the head.
Right. So he's like a gun martial artist.
Gung fu.
Gung fu.
I think that might be a thing. But he also gets hand to hand with people and takes knives and does awful things.
I think I liked it because I secretly want to be a hitman or woman. I liked that aspect. It does.
In the movies, doesn't it? Well, in the movies, it looks like fun.
Sure.
In the real world, I don't think it's
probably not so much.
Probably as good as what you want it to be.
I just want the gold coins and the nice house.
Yeah. Well,
some guns, maybe.
We'll get there.
I don't know.
I'll buy you some gold coins someday, babe.
Okay. Next Hanukkah, we've got some gold coins.
In the middle of all this, John gets injured a couple times. Of course, he's not indestructible, but he has what was the word? Determination, I think. Focus. He's a man of incredible focus, is what we learn.
Okay.
So he manages to get through all the trials, but does not yet get to Yosef. He gets a little bit of help from Willem Dafoe, who is like another assassin, and they're kind of buddies, but Willem's sent to kill him, but then he warns John instead, because someone's going to kill him in his hotel room, which is a no-no. But in the end, we can fast forward through the many, many kills. He does get Yosef.
Now, is this... so I think I enjoyed the next... Can we move on to John Wick 2? No, I guess not.
Yes, but I was just going to say the person that tried to kill him in this hotel, she was taken out at the very end of the movie by the Continental staff, because she broke the rules by trying to kill John in the hotel, and she killed someone else too.
Did they excommunicado her?
No, they just killed her. That's the thing. There's a continuity there which builds up to John Wick 3. So she broke the rules, and she just got taken out. That's it. She was done. Willem Dafoe also died. He does not make an appearance in John Wick 2, unfortunately. But yeah, so John kills Yosef, and then he goes and because of Willem Dafoe, it was just going to be, well, let bygones be bygones. I got your boy. But when it turns out Willem Dafoe got horribly murdered in the process of all this, John's like, I got to go take out Vigo. And he goes and takes out Vigo in a stupid way. He could have just shot him in the head. But Vigo's like, let's go man to man with my big Russian bare arms. And John's like, all right, let's do that. And it almost killed him. He got cut up a couple times. But, alpha male stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
But in the end, John kills Vigo, He's bleeding, but he gets away, finds a place to patch himself up. Turns out it's a vet place, and rescues a dog while he's there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He got a new doggy.
Yeah. And didn't he sew himself up or something?
I think he did.
He pulled out a
stapled
bullet
himself. As I'm sure works great in the real world. You can just staple your stomach to cure a knife wound.
Yeah. Right.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Or glue it.
So that's the end of John Wick 1. And I did not know what to expect, but you loved it, you said. That's amazing.
I said, I love it. Is that what I said?
I think you did, but then it wasn't that long because we had seen this late that we came to John Wick 2. And for John Wick 2, you were like, oh my God, we have to go see this. And I was like, really? Oh, okay. I'm not going to say no to that.
Yes.
All right. So it doesn't seem to start immediately after John Wick 1. I think that he rests for a couple days, but he's on the hunt for his car, which was still missing by the end of the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he's on his hunt for his car and winds up taking out the rest of the Tarasov clan.
Right.
So they're done. It's
and they are like they steal a lot of cars.
Oh yeah, it's a whole business.
It's a ring.
A lot of money, I guess, on stolen cars. Whoop-de-doo.
So he found his in their garage, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets his car back, kills the rest of the Tarasovs, and then goes back and immediately starts pouring concrete and is like, I'm done now. Everything's cool. I got a new dog. I got my car back. It's fucked up, but we'll fix it.
He's covering up the gold.
Right. He's reburying his guns and his gold and all that shit. And just as he's done pouring the concrete, there's a knock at his door. And in comes a guy named Santino D'Antonio.
He was good looking, wasn't he?
He's a little weaselly, but...
Really? What? What was his name?
Santino D'Antonio, played by Riccardo Scamarcio. There he is. Here's a picture of him.
Oh.
It's not who you thought? Okay.
No.
So John's out of the game, but now he's going to be pulled back in because Santino has a marker with John's bloody thumbprint on it.
Which means
he did John some kind of major favor once. I think it was related to the impossible job that John had to do to get out of the business.
Oh, yeah.
But it introduces this new facet. Now there's markers. These cool metal discs with little pins that you can prick your thumb on it and then put your bloody thumbprint on there.
Yeah, it's very much like Secret Society Illuminati or something. It's very like, in my blood, I will promise to do you some favor.
So John's like, no, I'm not going to do this for you. So they blow up his house. Amazingly, they don't kill his dog, but they do blow up his house.
Right. That was pretty shitty.
It's not a cool thing to do to a man like John Wick. But these guys always think there's more of us than there are of him.
Right.
He's not going to stop us.
Right. I mean, it's logical.
It might be, but, he's the Baba Yaga, for God's sakes.
And what does Baba Yaga mean?
I think it means boogeyman.
Just boogeyman?
I think, I don't know what it directly translates to, but yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right. So then we learn more about the world. Santino wants a seat at the high table. And we don't know much about what the high table is, but we do know that Santino's sister is in the way. So in order for Santino to get his seat at the high table, his sister's gotta die. And that is where John comes in.
Right.
So,
and we don't know that right away, but, well, I guess it was pretty close. They're in Rome, aren't they now?
So John has to travel to Rome, which, again, we have at least a day there. He goes to the Rome Continental. He gears up. So some time passes, and that makes me feel better about, the whole I stapled my stomach closed kind of stuff, because he did have some time to heal here and there. But
I feel like there was some point where it started bleeding through his shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Was that in 2, or was that just in 1?
No, you might be right. It might have reopened itself in 2 because really not a lot of time has passed.
A week.
He went out on his mission to find his car, and the second he's done getting his car, someone's knocking on his door.
So Baba Yaga is a witch.
Well, it's a specific mythical witch, is it not?
Well, sure. But it's a witch. It's a famous witch of the East, well known in Russia. She spooks and scares little children across Eastern Europe. And it's composed of 2 elements. Baba means grandmother, And it doesn't say what Yaga means.
That is kind of scary, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a little bit weird. I mean, now that you're saying it literally translates to grandmother. But he's not actually the Baba Yaga. That was just his nickname.
Right,
so.
right. And it says Yaga is probably a diminutive. I've never said that word before. Of the feminine name Jadwiga. I don't know.
That sounds like John Wick. Jadwiga?
Yeah, kind of, I guess. Not really, though. No.
That intrigues me. I don't care what you say. That intrigues me.
Okay. Yeah, so I always imagined Baba Yaga was a witch because I probably had heard that before, which kind of didn't fit what he was, but I thought the Babadook would be more fitting because it's a male. I think. Yeah, well. Sorry. Sidetracked, but
they
I had
should
to look
listen
it up.
to you. Maybe it's not too late.
John Wick 4.
The Babadook.
Get my advice.
The Duke of Baba. All right, so he goes to Rome, gets a whole bunch of cool new equipment. It's very Bond-like, like the way he's equipping. He's getting this amazingly tailored suit that's actually super bulletproof, like way better than anything we have in real life.
That's part of the things that I enjoyed too.
The equipment?
Yep.
He's got cool stuff. Really awesome guns. And the stylization of it is all like, yes, I need to do a wine tasting. And the guy's like, oh, a wine tasting. And he pushes a button and like a bunch of fucking guns comes out. And he's like, here's a light one for before dinner. And here's a heavy one for your red meats. And it's like,
yes.
Or something like that.
It was something like that, yeah.
But it's so classy. And it does look like an awful lot of fun. Even though you and I would totally die.
Yeah, we would probably die. We'd probably kill each other in that room while we were playing with our special toys.
All right.
Hang on. Technical
microphone problem? It's okay.
Falling down.
The audience will forgive you. All right. So the job, not actually that hard. He goes and he kills the sister. He doesn't want to, though, because they used to be friends or maybe lovers. I mean,
they just respected each other.
Close relationship. I think they used to be friends, at the very least. I mean, she gets
I
naked
don't know.
in
Does
front
John
of him.
Wick really have friends?
He had the Willem Dafoe character.
That wasn't really a friend. That was just a
work buddies.
Yeah,
well, they were about to be friends until Willem Dafoe got killed. They were going to be buddies.
I don't know about that. You cannot tell what John Wick's future would have been.
He needs some friends. But anyway, so that chick dies. She actually kills herself, but he puts a bullet in her head anyway, and that incurs the wrath of her main bodyguard, Cassian. Played by Common. And I only bring him up because he did not die, and I hope he comes back someday, because I thought it was a pretty good rivalry, but they would make an even better team. I'm just saying, if anyone's listening, that would be super cool.
They seem to be friends.
Well, they respected each other. But as soon as he knew that his charge had been murdered, he was relentless at trying to kill John. And John winds up escaping back to New York to collect his due and find, no. On his way out of the murder mission, he gets ambushed by Santino's people. So he has to kill his way out of
the catacombs.
The sister's people, Gianna, I think. Yeah, they're in the catacombs under this castle. And then he has to kill all the other people to get away. So now he's pissed. Once again, his house is blown up. They killed his dog last movie. Then his house was blown up. And then they tried to kill him for doing the job that he said he would do because they needed to cover their tracks. So he's a pissed off John Wick. Kudos to Ruby Rose as Ares. She's the female deaf super assassin.
Okay.
That tries to take John out. All right. But all of this goes back to New York and we wind up meeting some new characters. John's in bad shape at one point because everyone's trying to kill him. The price on his head is super high. And once he collapses at one point and gets brought to the Bowery, and we meet Lawrence Fishburne, whose character name appears to only be the Bowery King.
Okay. I don't remember that.
We're expanding on the mythology, though. That's what I love about it. So now we've seen 2 different Continentals. We know that there's a special currency. We know, we started seeing the telephone operator room when they're increasing the price on John's head.
Yeah. That was weird. Okay, yes.
And now we have the Bowery, which is like all of the bums in New York City are actually assassins and spies. And they report back to the Bowery King, who is part of the whole table assassin world.
What's his name?
But he has his own kingdom.
In real life?
Lawrence Fishburne?
Oh, yes.
What's Lawrence Fishburne's name in real life?
Yes.
All right. The end of all this, John kills a shit ton of people, and the Bowery King does him a favor by giving him a gun on his way back out for vengeance. But
that's bad.
John's goal is to kill Santino, who is, it's like being a made man in the mafia. Like, you're not supposed to touch Santino. He's a member of the super important family and may have just gotten a seat at the high table because his sister died. So whatever the high table is, you're not supposed to kill Santino. But John's going for it.
Because he's a bad dude.
And he kills so many people.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh, why do I not have a list of the body count?
Oh, that'd be fun.
My God. Okay. Just talk for a second while I get that.
Oh my God. What am I going to talk about?
John's hunt for Santino.
I don't remember. You drive this train, not me. Yeah, I don't remember.
All right, fine.
I could maybe talk about the third movie, but no.
In John Wick #1, he kills 77 people, according to people who have watched these movies in slow motion and done a full count. But in John Wick Chapter 2, on his hunt for Santino, he winds up killing a total of 128 people.
Good job.
Mm-hmm. He chases Santino all the way back to the Continental, where you're not allowed to do business. And Santino's like, bitch, I am rich. I'm going to stay here forever, so you can just fuck off. And what does John do? Does he fuck off?
He kills somebody, doesn't he?
Yeah, Santino. Just shoots him right in the head while he's having a meal.
I don't remember that.
Which kind of freaks out Winston a little bit, the hotel manager. He's like, John, you can't do this. But John does it anyway. And
so now he's excommunicado.
Right. Well, so there's the inconsistency in the following of the rules is that when in the first movie, Perkins, I think her name was, breaks the rules, she just gets killed, just dead. You can't do that stuff at the Continental. But when John does it, he's brought to the same meeting place, I think, or something very similar, out in public, out in the open, and he's told he's excommunicado, no more services from any of the Continental's functions anywhere in the world.
Right, and then they put a price on his head.
And he gets a price on his head, which was a little, okay, well, so then he's on the run.
He gives him an hour or something, right?
He gives him 1 hour to just go do whatever he needs to do, and then the hunt is on. And so there's a price on his head, which I feel like it wasn't put there by Winston at the Continental, but it was never really explained why there's a price on his head, like who did that. But then in John Wick 3, we get the impression it's like the high tables, like, fuck this guy. I guess. I don't know.
It's difficult. They didn't explain that really.
Or maybe the rest of Santino's family. I don't know.
Maybe it was started at the Santino level.
Maybe. It's personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So John's on the run. Now this movie, you still came through it feeling magical.
Which one are we talking about?
So much more
Second?
killing. John Wick 2. Yeah.
Okay. Magical? No. I mean, okay. These movies are entertainment.
As movies should be.
Not magic. And I think that you enjoy them more than I do, for sure.
I don't know that I enjoyed John Wick 1 more than you. You were raving about it.
I don't know. I don't know. I honestly could just not watch anymore and I'd be happy.
Oh.
Because of this third movie, probably.
Right, well, fine.
But I don't remember what happened in the second one. That was so long ago. That was like 2 years ago.
Anytime you're ready.
I don't want to rewatch them.
It's fun. What gets it for me is not so much the killing and definitely not the gunplay, but the world building.
Yes, I do like the secret world.
It looks like it would be fun to be a part of that, right?
Well, yes, on
some level.
On the surface. Yeah, it's probably not so great once you dig into your everyday life.
Well, like I feel like if you're like a run-of-the-mill assassin, you get your job, you take your job, you kill someone, you go home, you have, dinner with your wife and kids or whatever, or husband and kids.
That would be cool.
That would be cool, but it's when you get embroiled in the heavy politics of it all that it starts to take over your life and become super stressful.
Okay. So just don't talk politics.
Don't be the best and don't talk politics. That's my guess. But I mean, it just looks fun. There's these cool hotels and a secret currency and people doing all these secret favors for each other and cool toys to play with.
It's kind of like role playing.
It is. Well, in college, I played a game that was very John Wickian, except John Wick didn't exist yet.
And did you wear a trench coat?
Sometimes.
Yeah. I had a feeling you did.
But it was a role-playing game of espionage and intrigue and assassination.
And you actually were like going about town.
Yes.
Pretending to be.
Well, I mean, not all the time. You go around town. We were in college, so you'd go to class and you would be a normal person, but you probably always kept one Nerf gun on you in case.
Oh my God, that's so dirty.
Now, keep in mind, this was pre 9/11 too. So I feel like if we had done the things now that we did back then, I'd be in Guantanamo. I never would have met you.
I just can't imagine that.
Because we had people, I was pretty low key and didn't have a lot of money to blow on Nerf guns. So I didn't have a lot of arsenal, but there were people that had trench coats and like 2 like Nerf machine guns like hanging from their hips under the trench coat. And they just were ready to clear a room anytime you needed it. But it was the secret society thing that made it really fun, is that you were playing this game in public, sort of in plain sight, but you weren't allowed to kill anyone in plain sight. So it was. So
did you like go around the corner and snipe them or something? Did you ever kill anybody?
Of course. I mean, a couple, but I wasn't. I was more on the politics side of things.
Okay.
And then I ran the game for a while. Hey, I don't see why that's so bad. You just can't pick. You just didn't know the right people when you were my age. When you were,
no, I didn't. Apparently, I didn't.
Age.
Although I did, like there were things like people would walk around pretending to be vampires and stuff.
Oh, I've
witnessed that.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a lot of that in college too, but I was never really into the vampire thing so much. Some of my friends were. Some of my friends still are. my old friends. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, like, remember that movie? I think it was Anthony Edwards. It was called Gotcha.
No, never saw it.
Ah, jeez. It was like kids that were on a college campus, and you would just get like a hit list. But it was like with paintball guns, which
ouch,
can't imagine that would be ever okay on a college campus. But it was a movie. But it was a very simple game. Where you would just have to tag the one person, and then if you got your target down, then you would get a piece of paper from them that was their target, and then that was your next kill. And you just
Neat.
sort of
that
last
would be
man
fun.
standing. It would be really fun. So it was just an advanced version of that. It was a secret assassin society, like John Wick.
These days, if we tried to play a game like that, some asshole would get mad and really murder you.
Of course. Or cops.
Or cops, right? That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chimes
it was a more innocent
changed.
time. Yeah.
I think I said chimes have changed.
Chimes have changed.
The chimes have changed.
All right. So let's talk about John Wick 3, babe.
Okay.
So you were not as enchanted with this one, and I'd like to try to figure out why.
Because
yes,
it was start to finish killing, warring, fighting. There was like less storyline than there was prior movies.
I feel like, I mean, I don't totally disagree with you, but I do feel like the action was a little bit slower paced because John was just not in very good shape for most of the movie. Because I think, how did this movie start? I think this movie started like right as the last one ends. Like he was still, bleeding and beaten from his previous encounters.
I don't remember.
I think. Oh, because he's been on the run. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, duh. Yeah, so the last movie started with him having an hour, and the next movie starts with him still within that hour.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That was a good cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's running to try and get some shit done, and he's like all messed up.
He at least needs weapons.
And
maybe
everybody's
a place
supposed to give him an hour, but people didn't give him an hour.
Well, one guy didn't. That guy was a dick, and he stabbed John in the shoulder.
Yeah, that looked like it would really do some damage.
Yeah, that was a
big dude. You would never
be
the same.
What was his name? So John's on the run. He has less than an hour to go. We did meet one character that I hope I'll love someday, named the TikTok Man, played by Jason Mantzoukas, who, if you don't know the name, look him up because he's been in a lot of stuff that's hilarious. Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Parks and Recreation, largely. That's where we know him from. But yeah, so John's on the run. Things are not going well. The entire world of assassins is out to get him because he's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, he's up to like 15 million now or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Can we talk about the operator system?
Yes, please.
Okay.
They're so cool. They're all rockabilly retro.
Yeah. So how everything is controlled is through this old-timey operator system where they're unplugging the things and they're plugging them back in. And they're like, John Wick is now up to 15 million. And
someone writes it on a board.
John Wick is excommunicado as of 5, 4, 3, 2.
And then some lady pushes a button, which then starts like, it's on like an old green like CRT monitor from like 1982, but then that thing sends out text messages to every assassin in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
It's weird. Plugging shit into holes is not. I don't even know how they did it in the old days. I don't know how that shit works.
It was a skill. I hope they got paid well for it.
Plugging?
Well, you got to know what you're doing, man. Well, if you have a skill that cannot be easily replaced,
you can write a diagram right there and paste it to the wall.
My theory on this, I think we talked about this right after we saw the movie because you were asking the same question. My theory is that they're going to use old-timey technology not just because it looks cool on film, but because it would be harder, if not impossible, to hack because it's not on any modern standard.
Right.
That's my best guess, is that if you keep your shit, on paper, because they had stacks and stacks and stacks of paper, like a library, about every assassin and every job that's ever been done. But then the old-timey computers, probably on their own little rinky-dink network, and you just can't get into it because it's too simple. It doesn't have all the holes that, like, Windows does.
I guess. It just seems... I don't know. We can move on from there. It's pretty cornball.
But it's part of the world, which is what, even though it's totally cornball, and I totally agree with you, it's just part of this interesting world that they're building up. Mm-hmm. So John has to get out of New York, and we get introduced to, God, I mean, does she even have a name? Let me see here. Angelica Houston is a Russian character named the Director. That's the only name that she's given in the credits.
The Director.
Yeah. So looking back, something I love about this is that we find out that, so John goes in and he's like, you owe me, fucking, I need to get out of here. Mm-hmm. She's part of this whole under the table assassin structure.
Right. She's not part of the high table.
And so he's not supposed to get any services, but whatever he did to earn his ticket, earn his favor with her, he's cashing it in.
Right.
Even though she begs to not have to do it.
So he must have, I mean, these things are probably like, I don't know, 4 inches round.
Oh, you're talking about the marker. No,
he
markers. Had one of those, but this was like a rosary. He had that crucifix.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's right. I was thinking he was carrying around like 5 of those things in his pocket, and they're just jingling around.
No, he just had the one marker, which comes into play a little bit later. But the mythology that they opened up here, I think, is going to lead to something really cool because the director trained John. And she had a bunch of ballerinas on stage, or one ballerina at first, and then later a bunch. And we saw
very cruel, like
in the back, very cruel. But in the back rooms, we see there's a bunch of ballerinas practicing and a bunch of like dudes wrestling and stuff. And just, it's just nonstop. They're doing it to the point of fatigue. Like the ballerina's dancing and she's perfect. But the second the director's like, stop, because she's talking to John, that lady collapses and is exhausted and like crying.
And her feet are bleeding.
And we don't really get to see her face, but we do see her back at one point. And she has the same tattoos on her back as John. Mm. So I don't think she's training ballerinas. Maybe a little bit as like a cover because you need.
They seem to be ballerinas.
Well, was John a ballerina? Maybe.
No.
He could have been he was one of these guys.
So the girls go to ballet school and the guys go to wrestling school and then they emerge
assassins. Well, my guess is though, because this was taking place in a theater, you probably have a legitimate ballet company. But then, because you need a public face. You can't just be assassins.
I guess.
I mean, the Continental looks like a hotel. I don't know if we could just walk in there and be like, 1 room, please. But maybe. Because if we don't slip them a gold coin, they'll either be like, there's no vacancy today, sir. Or They'll just give us a shitty room on the first or second floor or something.
Right. Garden view.
So I bet there's a legitimate ballet company, but she's also training the next generation of super assassins. And there's already speculation on the internet that ballerina is going to be part of some coming spinoff.
Really?
Would that not be so cool?
That would be cool. But I mean, there was more ballerina than her. There were.
Yeah, but they didn't all have John Wick's back tattoos.
How do you know?
Because they were spinning around in circles.
Okay.
When we saw them.
Okay.
All right. So John gets his ticket out and he goes to Casablanca.
Right. Of all places.
Of course, there's a
Where do you want to
Continental
go? Casablanca.
Well, he chose that because of the marker in his pocket. And he knew where to find Halle Berry. What was her character's name? Sophia. He knew where to find Sophia. So he goes to Casablanca. She lets him in, even though he's not supposed to have any services, and guys are trying to kill him, whatever. But he gets to Casablanca, talks to Sophia, and John's whole thing now is to try to make amends. He wants to go back to his life of peace and not be excommunicado and not be hunted all the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe be excommunicado, but get rid of the price on his head. So he's seeking out the elder.
Mm-hmm. He wants to talk to the elder of the high table.
So this is his quest. It felt, I didn't love the way this went down. It felt a little Aquaman. Like Aquaman went on that quest in his movie where he's like, you have to go through the desert and seek the something or another.
Did we see Aquaman?
Fuck yes, we saw Aquaman. It had Khal Drogo in it.
I know I don't remember seeing it. I don't think I saw it.
The King of the Seas was in a desert at one point and then like made a magical desert machine work with his sweat because he could control the water in his sweat. You don't
I
remember
did not see
any
that.
of this. Oh my God. Yes. We did a podcast about it.
I think you brought a kids.
No.
Kids. And I stayed home.
If you're saying that we should watch Aquaman again as a refresher, I'm okay with that, but I'm telling you.
Yes, let's watch it.
You're making me look this
I don't
up.
remember any of it. I don't think I saw it. I think that you took the kids to the movies and saw it.
No. We did a whole thing about it on Pod of Thrones because it was starring Khal Drogo, and I promise you, we did it.
Okay, let's.
4 months ago, Jason Momoa. We did a whole review.
No.
We did too. All right. Well, anyway, it just felt a little bit like that to me, and it was a little weirdly contrived. Like they go talk to this other dude, also from Game of Thrones. But we don't.
You're forgetting about the lady.
Sophia?
No.
Well, she has her dogs.
No.
Which lady?
The High Council. Jude.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about her, but she's over.
Adjudicator.
She's over in New York while John's on this quest.
She hasn't come about yet.
She has. But
yeah. Okay.
What are you gonna do? But John goes to this one dude and he's like, "Hey, I just want to meet the elder." And the guy gives him this weird speech about like you have to go through the desert and when you're almost dead, keep walking, and then
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
So that was a little weird.
That was weird, and then
they wound up killing like everybody in that place except for that dude. They shot his knees out. Ugh. He'll probably still bleed to death, honestly.
He's in the middle of the desert.
But Sophia, played by Halle Berry, is a cool kick-ass character. She has these two dogs that she's like super in sync with in their combat.
Mm-hmm. They stay like right at her side at all times, and they're
and then they
German shepherds,
grab
or something.
People's arms or bite out their cocks.
Oh, actually, no, they weren't. They were special dogs.
I don't know what kind of.
They were like Cairo. Yes.
Cairo, yes.
There's a dog with a Cairo name in it, and it's I can't remember.
So she was a cool character, but I thought she was going to wind up being in the whole movie, and she was not. So I assume we'll see her again someday.
She didn't die,
but she had a backstory too. Like she had a daughter, and she wanted to get her daughter out of the whole life of assassins.
Right.
So John helped hide her, and that's why John had a marker to get a favor.
Now, have we learned what happens to people yet that help somebody that's excommunicado?
Well, I think they get killed, but we don't know what her fate is yet. I mean, they kind of killed almost everybody, so maybe nothing. If no one knows what happened, then I don't know. But I think we'll see her again in 4. She'll probably be on the run for helping him, is my guess. All right. So while all this is happening, you're right. We should talk about the adjudicator. So again, this is laying in a new facet to the mythology, which is why I'm still digging it. So the adjudicator is this lady. Is it
adjudicator or adjudicator?
Adjudicator.
Okay.
She's adjudicating is a legitimate word. So she is going around New York telling people that they are fucked for helping John kill someone from the high table. So she tells Winston he's done. He has 7 days to clean up his shit because he's not going to be the manager at the Continental anymore. They didn't say they were going to kill him, but he's done.
Right. They're taking
go
over.
To the Bowery King, and they say, you gave John the gun, and he used that gun, not really to kill Santino, but whatever, to help. So you have 7 days, and then you're done. Mm-hmm. And then they go seek out another guy who... God, I love this guy. I guess his name is Zero. According to the credits. Yeah, according to the credits, his name is Zero, played by Mark Dacascos. Did you recognize him? He's the super ninja leader.
What's his name? Mark Dacascos?
Mark Dacascos.
Let me see. Oh, no, I didn't recognize. Oh, I've seen him in something before. You said he was in Terminator?
No. I recognize him from a bunch of stuff from like ages ago. And he was in either The Crow 2 or like the Crow TV series. I'm not sure. One of those. And he's a brilliant martial artist and he does his fair share of acting. But the thing I know him most from, which is really entertaining, is Iron Chef America.
I was used to say, but it was Iron Chef.
Iron Chef America. He played
That's right.
the crazy billionaire that wanted people to cook for him.
I thought that was a real thing.
And the original Iron Chef, so did I. I was like, well, I guess that dude's just crazy and wants people to cook crazy meals. I mean, I think the cooking side is still real, but there's a facade over the show that is not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I recognized him from somewhere.
In the opening credits of Iron Chef America, like he did some crazy like backflip martial art move too, like while they were introducing him as the eccentric billionaire guy.
Wow.
So she hires Zero to start taking people out. And they have some line of like, I have served and I will serve or something like that. He
was in Dancing with the Stars too.
I bet he's a good dancer.
He probably is a good dancer.
As a martial artist, he knows how to use his body.
He was a funny character in this.
Funny and very violent.
Yeah. Funny, violent, and badass.
I liked him. He was a little awkward at times, but it gave an interesting facet to the character.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked him.
Mm-hmm.
So she's laying the groundwork, Winston's doing whatever. And the Bowery King is defiant. He's like, you can't take me down. I'm the Bowery King and I will be the Bowery King forever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they go to the director too. And they tell her she's got to pay in blood and they stab her right through the hands. That guy's ninjas were pretty awesome.
Yes.
They're silent, killing their way over to the director. So Angelica Houston's got big holes in her hands. The Bowery King gets all slashed up, and I thought he was dead. I think we were supposed to.
Right, 7
dead.
Slashes.
7 cuts for 7 bullets that he gave John.
He was also in Double Dragon.
Oh, well, that's a movie worth seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So the adjudicators just go around taking care of business, but she does not get her hands dirty. I was hoping at some point she would do something awesome, but she is not a fighter. Not yet.
Angelica Houston?
No, the adjudicator.
Oh, the adjudicator. She looks like she's going to be badass sometime.
I hope so.
I don't like her.
Well, you're not supposed to like her.
I know. She did a good job then.
But she is the messenger of the table, which we know almost nothing about. So we get another Continental. We get a new thing, the adjudicator. We find out how power transitions. We have... And then we meet the Elder. John almost dies in the desert and gets picked up by a guy on a camel.
Right.
And is brought to the Elder, who seems to be living quite comfortably in a tent in the middle of the desert.
Right. And it may or may not be a mirage.
I don't think it was.
I think it might have been a whole mirage.
It could have been a fever dream.
But then he makes it out of the desert somehow.
Right. John promises that he'll kill Winston if it means he can... Oh, no, because he doesn't get to get out. But he does get to survive for now.
Right. He gives him a job and now he's...
Right. If he kills Winston, he can be back in, but he serves directly under the high table.
And forever.
Forever.
Yeah, no getting out of it this time.
But John says okay. And has to cut off his finger.
That's right, to show his fealty.
Yeah. But it was all to give the Elder a ring. And there was no explanation for why John just couldn't give him the ring.
It was his one ring. It was the one ring. Yes, from his wife. It was his marriage.
Now that you say it, the transfer of that ring did look a lot like the opening scene of Lord of the Rings, where they cut off Sauron's finger.
Mm.
And then they pick up his finger, and then it all like decays, and then they have the ring. Tolkien homage there. All right. So what do you want? John goes back to New York, kills a shit ton of people. He's never looking particularly good, but he does get back to the Continental with all the other ninjas are dead, but Mark Dacascos manages to chase him down there. They do have a funny scene sitting in the Continental, not being able to kill each other.
Right.
It was great.
That part was
pretty
funny.
great. He's like, I'm a really big fan.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
He was just about to kill John Wick. John gets away, and then he just fangirls out on him.
There was a couple of moments there that happened.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm really a big fan. Can't believe it's fucking John Wick.
But the rest of the time he looks like super menacing and
right.
Sending his guys at him and stuff. And the other times he's like, that was a really good fight, right, John?
Yeah. Yes.
It's too bad he died. I'll miss him. He's a good character.
Wait. You mean on this show?
Well, yeah, on that movie.
I don't know. Maybe he died. People die all the time these days.
So what do we have? John decides not to kill Winston. The adjudicator deconsecrates the Continental and then sends in a shit ton of troops that John can no longer kill by shooting them in the head because they're wearing super awesome armor. Which is a good storytelling maneuver. Take, John Wick's best power is shooting people in the head and just killing them flat out. So now it's like his kryptonite.
That's right. He has to find ways to get to their soft spots.
Right. You got to knock him over and then get him in the back of the head right where the helmet doesn't quite touch the rest of the armor.
But wasn't that only the motorcycle guys or...
No. The motorcycle guys you could shoot them in the face.
There were some good motorcycle fighting scenes.
Yes, there was. And at one point, John's fighting on horseback.
Yes. That was interesting too. Did they kill the horse? I hate it when that happens.
No, I don't think they killed the horse. I think the horse was okay.
What did we see recently that somebody chopped off the horse's legs? Was that...
That happened to Game of Thrones once.
Game of Thrones?
Yeah. Definitely.
Should not do that to horses.
Times.
They can't... They'll
it's not
die.
Their fault.
No.
It's not their fault. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of fighting. And that part of the movie, I would say, did go on a little bit long.
Fight.
The killing... Because it wasn't even like super action-packed because the guys in the armor are moving slow. John's moving slow and more deliberately with a big, heavy shotgun to, hit them through their armor. It was a little much.
And many people were killed.
Many people were killed, yes. Oh, yeah, the body count.
So I could have gone with about a half hour less killing and fighting.
Yeah. For some of it...
I know, I was going to say maybe a love story would be nice in there, but the love story is that his wife is dead.
Yeah. I would also say that the scene with Sophia and the dogs where they're fighting their way out of that one place was a little on the long side too. And it was awesome, but it was a little long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You notice how Halle Berry doesn't seem to age?
Weird, huh?
Yeah.
John Wick kills 94 people in episode 3, Parabellum.
Wow.
And we find out during the movie that Parabellum means like prepare for war or something like that.
So he's actually less.
He's less effective than in John Wick 2, but he does kill some heavy duty guys with big armor. So I guess that helps. So all of this ends with John saving the Continental. They have to do a parlay.
Parlay.
A parlay.
Just like, just like pirates.
Yep. John does have some big fights against the rest of the ninja dude Zero, and there's some. That was a long fight scene too. You're right. Some of the fight scenes were way too long. But in the end, John, of course, is victorious, and they meet up on the roof of the Continental, and they come to an agreement that the Continental can be reconsecrated, and Winston can stay in his job. But what do you do about John Wick? And Winston shoots him like 4 or 5 times, and John falls off the building.
Yes, what the fuck?
That was a bad looking fall, man. Whatever stuntman had to do that.
Oh, I think it was just a dummy.
I hope so. Maybe.
Of course it was. Like, yeah, he falls out the window,
lands on a thing, and then bounces to another thing, and then bounces to another thing.
It was a lot of painful bouncing.
John was beaten and broken. But when they go look for his body, at the end of it, his body's gone. He had been picked up by the TikTok man, who, again, we didn't get to see do anything cool. A little disappointing.
Did they push him around in a basket?
He had him in a shopping cart and got him back down to the Bowery, where it turns out the Bowery King survived his 7 cuts for 7 bullets.
Now he's like making a home in the sewer. Just like,
well, I think he always was, wasn't he?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, he was he was up on top.
Well,
with
he had his
pigeons.
rooftop with his pigeons, but then they lived, well, I guess they lived in the building. Yeah, maybe they're even further underground now. But they've decided they're going to go to war.
Of course,
Bowery
with the
King,
high table.
Right. The Bowery King is pissed. John is pissed. And also really badly hurt. He needs a few days off.
They're corrupt. They have to finish, or they have to clean up the corrupt.
Right.
Maybe John will be the new Continental director.
He can get a seat on the high table, or just
Maybe
the Continental
that would be a pretty good gig for him. Telling to go kill people. Just
I'd be okay with it. John needs a rest one of these days.
I agree. Yes,
Yeah,
he needs to heal from all of these. I mean,
Stabbings
you get
and shootings.
stabbed here in your what is this? Above your clavicle into the muscle, and it goes straight in with like a 8-inch knife.
Mm-hmm.
That is piercing some lung, maybe. It's definitely hurting all these muscles, and now they're shredded. You can't even use your arm at that point. You could not use your arm.
Well, we know that an artery was nicked in that first part of the beginning of the movie. So John would have died if not for that doctor quickly stitching him up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Internal bleeding doesn't stop when you stitch up the outside.
He took some ibuprofen, I think, too.
Oh.
So that
did it.
That's okay.
He's all right now. They gave him something he's like, here, take this pill. Remember that? He's like, wasn't that?
In the beginning?
Was that the beginning?
Yeah.
Take this pill, it'll help with the pain. And,
right.
and get you all amped up. It was probably a big old cocaine pill or something.
Crystal meth or something. You won't feel like you've been stabbed anymore.
I don't think meth will help with the pain.
No?
No, I don't think so. But cocaine might. I'm not sure.
So anyway, it ends on a cliffhanger again. Not a cliffhanger, but on a note that is clearly, we're going to make more of these. Which is surprising. Most things deal in trilogies. This did not. They've already announced a John Wick 4 release date in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
It's being made. How do you feel about that?
We need closure.
Yeah.
Is this going to be like James Bond and it just goes on forever? Are they trying to do a James Bond? Are they pulling a James Bond?
Well, then they'd have to get new John Wicks from time to time. But I do think that they could continue in this universe. We don't know how far John's going to go, but unless he topples the entire organization.
That's probably going to happen, and then it'll be done.
Well, but they're supposedly working, bless you, they're supposedly working on a TV series about the Continental. So we have a spinoff of the Continental, rumored spinoff of this ballerina. So maybe you're right. I mean, maybe John takes out the worst of the people and then takes a spot at the high table or somehow retires. Maybe he dies. I don't know. But maybe they get things back to a normal point and the underworld continues to live on. The secret society.
Maybe.
I can't see John Wick himself doing that many more movies. I'm listening.
The reason why we need John Wick to do like one more movie is because we need closure on all of these things.
Yes.
We know how things go these days with closure. We didn't get closure on Game of Thrones. They just kind of, things fizzle out and like other people come in and they start making shit and then they don't take care of the closure.
But some people do it right. I mean, Avengers Endgame ended very strong. I mean, they still obviously left room open for more Marvel movies because they're not even close to being done. But they gave us closure on the major plot points and some of the characters that were going to retire. I mean, I think they did great.
I guess.
And unfortunately, when people talk about TV shows, they always go back to Breaking Bad as being such an amazing ending. And that's great for Breaking Bad, but it's sad that was like a decade ago.
What? Was it a decade ago?
Well,
not a decade.
No, not a decade.
No, that was just like 5 years ago.
I'm going to go with 7 or 8, but there hasn't been a great, satisfying ending to a show since then. Nothing.
I don't even remember how that ended. Jeez.
He died.
Oh.
Spoilers. Walter White died. He had cancer, man. But he went out his way.
Okay.
Taking down the Nazi drug dealers. Yeah.
So you want more John Wick?
Well, I want more because I agree, and maybe they're listening to this right now.
Of course
I agree. that the major set piece fight scenes were too long. And we're talking, especially the one with Halle Berry, where they're fighting their way out of the place. I want more of her, but that one scene was too long.
Are you kidding me?
The one in the Continental with the armored guards, that was way too long. And the one after that, where in the room made of glass, when he's fighting those ninjas, for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
The ninjas weren't even trying to kill him. They were just trying to, like, test him.
They were playing with him.
And they were fans of his, too.
Yeah. They did say, oh, those were the guys that were like, can you believe it's fucking John Wick?
And it was funny, but they could have killed him a couple times.
Yes, they could have. Instead, they like took his hand and helped him up.
Right. Which, it's like, I mean, I'm glad for John Wick that he's not dead, but
kind of weird.
It kind of hurts the mythos of him being this unbeatable dude. Because they definitely beat him a couple times.
Yeah.
But that whole thing, there was like a set of ninjas that beat the shit out of him, then the second set of ninjas that were the fanboys but still beat the shit out of him, and then the long fight with Zero after that. Like, that was so long.
So much fighting.
Definitely too long.
Need a break.
But they continued to build up the mythology of we know that there's the high table, and then there's something called below the table or under the table too, and we don't know what that is unless it's just
it's everything that's not the high table.
Well, I don't know. Maybe
it's it's like the working.
Well, because the Bowery King was like, we have to go to war and take out the people above the table, the people below the table. Like, they're all I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit more to it, but the fact that we're going to get more, this mythos keeps expanding. That's what excites me.
Yeah. I can't wait to see that girl get her ass kicked.
The adjudicator?
Yes. And to see really what she's all about, because clearly she's hiding something. She has no emotion, although at one point they kind of made fun of her, sort of. What was it that...
We saw her get annoyed once when Winston like ignored her call or hung up.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. They weren't taking her calls, and she was like, now I've got to go all the way down there.
And I'm sad that Winston made the villain turn at the end.
Me too.
Because he was a pretty great character. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
he's an alcoholic,
he still
though.
Is. Okay.
I could see it in his eyes.
Can you? Mm-hmm. You're talking about the character.
No, the real life guy.
Oh, come on. Ian McShane's a nice dude.
You met him?
Yes. He's my buddy. We're having him over for barbecue.
Oh.
Memorial Day. Yeah.
Okay.
Don't call him an alcoholic.
I won't in front of his
that'll
face.
Be insulting.
Maybe I'll help him. Maybe I could say, you just need to admit it. That's the first step.
I think these Hollywood types, you label a bunch of them alcoholics, but they might just be really good actors.
No.
Okay. All right. So we can agree John Wick 3 was flawed. But we're going to see John Wick 4, right? I mean, don't we have to?
Yeah, we have to.
Because you even want the closure, even though you were less than enthused about this one.
I do want the closure, and hopefully next time won't be like even longer fights.
So if you were rating these on a 10, what would you give John Wick number 1?
7.
And 2?
7 again, probably.
I would actually rate 2 a little bit higher. I mean, I might agree with you. I'd probably go like 7.5 to 8 on John Wick 1, but I'd go like 8 to 8.5 on John Wick 2. I thought it was a lot of fun. And it expanded the mythos in huge ways.
Okay.
But then John Wick 3?
5. Maybe 4. 5, 4. Ooh. 4.5.
Wow. All right. I would go like a 6. 6.5. I still enjoyed it, but the big, it was just too much.
I was ready to be out of that theater. It was way too long.
Right. And it's all because of those few fights.
That's and what? Weren't movies, didn't they used to be like an hour and 15 minutes?
In the 80s, comedies were usually about 80, 85 minutes. But the dramas were usually like an hour 45 on average.
Really? Uh-huh. I don't remember them being that long.
For a drama, yes. For a comedy, no. But now everything's longer. I mean, you even get 2-hour-long comedies now. Bridesmaids and Ghostbusters, I think, like the newest ones, the newest Ghostbusters.
It's just too long. Mm-hmm. I gotta pee. I can't wait that long.
We waited 3 hours through Avengers. Well, you didn't. Infinity War.
Right.
Or Endgame.
That's right. I had to.
You didn't quite make it, but I did.
I took advantage of the online recommendations for when to pee.
Yeah. This one was not 3 hours. John Wick is not 3 hours long, but it was just over 2 hours.
Still too long.
Hey, look, I agree. I'm not arguing that. I think if you had trimmed 15 minutes out of fight scene out of that, we would have been golden. Just keep building
or
the world, man.
Half hour less.
We've got spin-offs coming. Just world build, world build, world build. That's what I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do like a good backstory.
Oh my God, do I ever. All right. So any last words about John Wick besides we'll talk about him again in a year and a half to 2 years?
Well, I mean, okay. Let's talk about Keanu Reeves.
Okay. He does
He's a
his
man
own
of
fight
few words.
choreography, you know.
He does?
The fight choreography, yes. Like the stuff where he's falling off buildings or downstairs, no. But he's doing his own fights.
Well, I mean, that makes him pretty cool.
Sure does.
He's a man of few words, like I said. And I feel like everybody said he wasn't a great actor. That's been like his problem, like with fans, I think, that
Yeah.
because he always sounds the same. It's like he's never acting. He's just sounding like he's a surfer dude. And that's
Right. It always comes back to like, whoa. Like that's everybody's Keanu Reeves impression is like, whoa.
Oh, that's a Ted and
I know Kung Fu.
right. He's not exactly like that in this, but he's doesn't talk much and he's always brooding and
Wouldn't you be?
well, sure. Especially if somebody killed my Sophie.
Yeah, man.
I'd have to go all John Wick on them.
I could see you killing someone if they killed your dog.
Yes, I would totally
Probably just the one person.
kill anybody that kills my dog.
Yeah. Don't you touch our Sophie.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. I'll be your driver. I'll help you get out.
Okay, you'll be the getaway car.
I'll be the getaway car.
Cool. Let's do it. Oh, somebody has to kill her. No, let's not do that.
Let's not do it. All right. So you were saying Keanu Reeves.
Well, I just feel like he's not a great actor, but I don't know if I feel bad saying that because maybe he is.
Well, maybe this is just the perfect role for him, and that's why it works so well. Is that he's a man of few words because he can do the action, he can do facial expressions, he delivers the dialogue he needs to deliver, but he never gets super emotional with it. He never has to have any whoa moments because he's such a like the character itself is very flat, I guess.
Yes.
Like he's either angry or he's calm, and that's about it. He doesn't laugh. He doesn't get excited.
He never smiles, right?
Doesn't smile. Right.
No. Yeah, you're right.
It's the perfect gig.
Yes. He had some depression problems.
John Wick?
With his...
Or Keanu?
No, Keanu Reeves.
Oh.
Yeah, because of him being portrayed as a not so great actor.
Oh.
Now I feel bad.
That's sad. Yeah. Now he's been like bullied online.
You're good, John Wick. I mean, Keanu.
I hear he is one of the nicest guys you could ever meet. If we ever meet him, I'd like to be able to confirm that.
Well, let's find out where he lives and buy a house next door.
Maybe if I keep up with the taekwondo I'm doing with the boys, I could be in John Wick 4.
Maybe. You can go train with Keanu and...
Yeah. I did a couple fight choreography classes in my past.
What?
I did in college. I was very busy in college.
Fight choreography?
Yes.
That was a class?
Uh-huh. It really was. What are you looking at?
In Wisconsin?
Yes.
Huh.
I had a class in theatrical fencing, which was not just fencing. It was any kind of swordplay. Yeah.
Okay.
But not to hurt each other. It was.
So, I mean, I can't imagine these credits were going towards your degree.
Well, towards the sort of broader picture, not towards a degree in behavioral science and law. No, it was just part
It was just for fun.
Yeah.
You wasted your parents' money on theatrical fencing.
I was doing something physical. They should be happy. So shut up.
Okay. Sorry.
Killing me. All right. So where were we? I guess that's about it, right?
I think we're done.
Yeah. I mean, it's been over an hour. We're good.
We
I think
talk a lot.
We love Keanu Reeves. John Wick movies. Look, this one's a little slow, but there's still a great series of films. I would still recommend going to see it if you've seen the first two.
And you like fighting.
Yes.
Fighting.
If you like a good action movie.
Mm-hmm. Lots of action,
if you
a lot
like
of action.
A deep mythology. It just keeps getting deeper and deeper. And that's where I'm at.
Cool.
I'm excited. John Wick 4, 2021. We'll see you here, hopefully.
Yes.
So we'll talk again in 2021, everybody.
Okay.
Until then, I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
Whoa.